Welcome to Oregon Voters Digest, the program that brings forward the social and political issues that are important to people living here in the Pacific Northwest. And now, your host, Bruce Broussard.
Welcome again to this segment of the Oregon Voters Digest. I'm Bruce Broussard, your host. As you can see, my paraphernalia that I have is that I was former military. I mean, and there's a lot of history there, but the whole idea is that I wanted to share with you in terms of the fact that I was, and I've been around the country, around the world for that matter, and there are a lot of issues out there, but my point is that we're not going to get in that today. I've been doing this for a number of years now, but now we've got issues as far as I'm concerned, and that's where this show is going to be going today, especially now. We're looking at from the standpoint of the issues that we're faced with today. And the media covers the issues. They cover the issues, but they don't cover solutions. And that's the key. That's the thing that I'm thinking that, and that's what this show does with the Oregon Voters Digest here at Open Signal. It's community television. That's the other thing. It's community television. And in many ways, the media tend not to regard this community media as part of the whole. Well, in all due respect, the folks that are actually part of the issues are folks, community folks. And in many ways, they don't look at the media. They don't read the newspapers. They don't look at the TV news, if you will, as far as TV. They're not listening to all these talk shows. No, it's community. They're surviving on their own out there. And we have a problem, in all due respect, that we need to solve. We need to focus a bit more on those folks that are living in that kind of an environment. And I think if we can kind of get that on the table, I think we can start, if you will, solving some of these solutions. And so with that, I'm going to interview. We're going to be interviewing a guy that I've known for several years now. I interviewed him when he first came out of Canada, out of Alaska, where he was basically he went to Alaska and guess what? He responded to the issues. And he put together an organization where he was feeding folks and all kinds of things. I mean, he was reaching out big time. And so he decided one day, well, gee, I'm going to come back to the States. And then that's how I met him. And we've had several shows. In fact, one of the things he did was comparable to what I did when I basically got out of the Marine Corps. I'm still in the Marine Corps to a certain degree. But he also left Alaska in terms of the organization that he put together. He left that, and he said, "Gee, I want to do something here again. I want to do something in the States." And he came back to Oregon, Portland, Oregon, for that matter. And I met him, and so we started talking. And next thing I know, we started talking about how can he get to the people and get his message across the board. And I said, "Hey, you ought to consider running for office." That's the quickest way in the world to basically get to the world, because you will then be able to share the issues and the solutions to your issues. And then he said, and I said, now don't understand me well. Now naturally the major medias are not going to cover you overnight. They should be reaching out to you because you appeared on the show. And a lot of times they share among themselves. But guess what? They don't share with us. There's never been a media that's called me up.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I've even run for office.
Yeah.
And they've never asked me, well, why are you running for office?
Yeah.
You know, and why have you run? See, but I understand the definition of the business. I don't spend the millions of dollars.
There you go.
Making myself, make myself beautiful, or this, that, and the other. Somebody I'm not. You got my point? But rather than focusing on my issues, they're focusing anything other. And don't get me wrong, it's part of our lifestyle in this country, and we have to deal with it. And so I'm not trying to knock them in another way. I'm just saying your lane, the media's lane, is just to talk to the issues, but not the solutions of the issues. This show talks to community television, talks to the solution of the issues. And that's why I'm saying that's what I've been doing, and I've been interviewing folks. I mean, my subject matters were all in regards to that. A lot of times people don't understand that if you don't reach out to me and ask me the question, right? You got me? So today we're going to do a show with someone that I'm sort of excited about doing it, because since I last interviewed him, he's, again, like I said, he's he gotten involved, and he's run for office, and you know, he's been out there with community. He's been out there looking at those issues. He's been out there with the people and whatever. So what we're going to be doing today is getting an update.
All right.
We're going to get an update and ask him all the questions. What is going out there in the streets, and how are you responding to it, and what are some of the issues you are targeting, and what do you feel are the solutions? And we'll naturally talk about other issues. But the bottom line is that I want this first 30 minutes. I've been talking quite a bit, but I'm gonna let him do this first piece, and then we're going to talk a little bit about himself. And if you want to talk a little bit about his organization that he has, this, that, and the other, and then right after that, we're going to get into what are the issues and what do you see on the streets. We're going to even ask him the questions about fentanyl. That's a big issue right now.
Sure.
What does that mean, and how the money attacked it, and all of a sudden they're basically giving them how to use it, how to put it in your arm. I mean, well, anyway, we'll
look for solutions.
We'll look for solutions.
There
That's
you go.
the key.
I got
okay?
some.
Got me. Okay, good. All right, with that, this is Mike O'Callahan. But he's truly Irish.
There you go.
He is
That's
truly
right.
Irish, big time. I mean, big time. He's truly Irish, big time. I've even asked him. I mean, I'm sure he's got a bagpipe that he can do. Have you ever done a bagpipe?
No.
You've seen him though, haven't you?
No. Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure. Hey, man. The Irish bagpipe you play on your lap, and you have your bellows down here.
Oh, okay. I see that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But
Yeah.
he's keeping up with his culture. Let's put it that
There you
way.
go.
He knows that piece. Okay. Well, Mike, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Good. Appreciate it. Nice seeing you. You're looking well.
Oh, hey, life is good, man.
Life is good.
Oh, yeah.
Gee whiz,
Delightful.
Well, look, why don't we start off right up front with just a little brief thing in regards to Alaska when you were doing your thing there.
Okay, I'll give
just
you a
briefly.
short. Okay,
Just a
this is
short
my
piece.
brags. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Go
started a free food program with a bike and a trailer, and at its apex for probably
In Alaska.
In Alaska, yeah, with a grocery store chain called Cars, and we picked up 9 stores. And so I think it was 5 of the stores were picked up twice a day, and we were turning over 1,500,000 pounds of food a year on a zero budget with 82 volunteers, and we only had one rule, and that rule was you miss one pickup, you're dropped from the program. So,
really?
Yeah. So from a manager's point of view, I had 3 days in which I had to respond to manage. Okay. So basically it was whoa, look at that.
I got it. You must have been saying some good things. You just keep talking.
Basically it was management free, so that was one of the things. Another thing I did is start a free fish giveaway program where we gave away 2.5 million pounds of salmon for free.
Okay.
You know, and I did a lot of litigation. I took 9 cases to the state Supreme Court in Alaska, and down here I took my case of the constitutionality of the anti-camping ordinance to the Ninth Circuit Court, and won in the Ninth Circuit Court in 2018, I think it was, when they declared Portland's camping ordinance unconstitutional, and Ted Wheeler said he'd ignore it. So, you know, and then again, I'm involved with that again because, as you know, we have a new anti-camping ordinance. And I don't know if you're familiar with the details of that, but it's pretty unconstitutional from my point of view. So I'm going to enter litigation in circuit court about that. What I did is I did a protest down at City Hall just last week, in which put up 2 tents in front of City Hall, and they were there for 4 days, and on the 5th day they were stolen.
Well, did they reach out to you?
Oh, no, never. But they did reach out in that they stole my tents. So that gives me grounds, again, to litigate in Multnomah County Court.
One more point about that reaching out piece. Did they call you and you were aware of the fact that the 3-minute piece, right, on doing the time that they're having their commission meetings, right?
Yeah.
They didn't reach out to you at that time?
Oh, no, nobody ever reached, like you said, okay, nobody ever reaches out, really. You know, the media has their agenda, and you know, if you can't see what it is, then you're not watching close enough. So, you know, it doesn't include, like you say, interviewing people that have different points of view than they do.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's kind of what I did in Alaska a lot of time. Now, one of my brags, okay, is that I won after 5 years when they had a closed primary in Alaska, which was not legal. I sued, and it took them 5 years to decide. Okay, we had 2 illegal primaries, and then after the 5th year, they finally decided that it was illegal. They had an illegal primary. I petitioned them to make the general illegal, but they declined.
And this was here?
No, in Alaska.
In Alaska?
Yeah. First time
okay.
in the history of the United States an official ballot had been declared illegal.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, and we had
you
2
did
of
it.
them.
You pointed that.
Oh yeah, I do all of my legal stuff.
Okay. Oh, okay.
You know, and it's I don't know if you've been in court before, but I've got probably 60 cases that I filed.
Really?
Or that wow. You know, counting my failure to use your turn signal or whatever it is. Yeah. And so what I've decided in law is that the logic judges use escapes me.
Wow.
So that's my conclusion.
Wow.
So anyway, that being set aside, here's one thing. What you know, you like to promote solutions, okay?
Right.
So I wanted, and the deal is with we have battles that we fight, right?
Sure.
You know, and I'm tired of fighting battles. I want to win the war. Okay. Here's how I want to win the war. It's called Portland phone polling.
Portland
phone polling. Right, okay, so here's what you do. You live in Portland, you call in from your home, and you register your phone and say, you know, how many votes are in your house. Okay, we'll record that. And then what we'll do is we'll have a process for putting issues up before the pollers, okay? And the process will include signing a petition electronically that you want to see this be advanced, etc. So what we'll do, we'll put issues on there. One I want to put on there right away is should we put 10-cent deposit on cigarette filters? I'm tired of picking up cigarette filters. Okay. 10-cent deposit, that means you pay $2 when you buy your next pack, and you don't have to pay again as long as you bring your butts back.
Or someone else will.
That's right. Someone else will pick them up.
Like they do bottles and cans.
That's right. That's right.
Interesting.
So, okay, let's train these people.
That's a good point.
Okay, and we can put a 5-year sunset on it because these people will be trained down the road. Okay, and they won't throw their butts out anymore.
Makes good sense.
So yeah, okay. With Portland phone polling, what we'd do is we'd say, okay, here's the issue. We're going to put it out to you on this date, and you respond back. When you respond back, you say yes, no, or hit a third button that says, I want to be involved with implementing this.
Okay.
So what we do, and I want to set this aside as an organization that's not sponsored by the government, that's a standalone, okay? So we have a function where we provide drinks and donuts or something like that, good stuff, where everybody puts the third button, shows up. Okay, you guys want to implement this? Okay, here's your function. And I'm not going to have hardly any chairs there because I want everybody to stand.
That's
now,
right.
some
That's
people
right. You
can't.
gotta be awake.
Yeah, and talk. Everybody meet everybody, and you figure out how you're going to do this. Thank you. Next issue. Let's put this one up.
A solution.
And yeah, you guys figure it out. Okay, we're going to give you a platform to meet people that have common ideas.
Yeah.
And so then you can get together. That's one of the things that's really missing in this whole thing is a platform, okay? And then when the bureaucrats or the people that govern us see a vote go 80-20, 90-10, it's like, oh, they're coming for us. We better be ready, okay? Okay, so one of the things is we're going to have this function. If an issue passes, at least 60-40. I'd rather it be 70-30. Okay, so most of the people in the world are going to agree with whatever it is. So any place you go, 70% of the people are going to say yeah, 30 of them are going to say no. But and hey, you've got a pretty strong strong voice to speak
okay,
with.
Okay.
So that's kind of my solution for winning the war, okay? If we can set this up, and the fun part about it, okay, it can be duplicated all over.
Beautiful.
All over.
But in that particular case, it's like you took an issue.
Yeah.
You took an issue and came up with a solution piece
Right.
to it.
Yeah.
And this is what you're talking about, the solution aspect of it.
Right.
And people just easily just like you said, just call in and hit the buttons.
Yeah.
It's like a 911 number. See.
Right, sure.
You get a 911 number and it answers or whatever. Basically, who you are, right?
Right.
You got the phone there already, right?
Right, and we know that they're in Portland.
Okay, now that system, that's going to be a little costly.
Well, I got friends looking into it.
Oh, okay.
That have some capabilities, and not too terribly. I don't know. Let me preserve that. Okay. But it shouldn't be too costly because the registration system's pretty straightforward. And one thing you got to do about it that's really important for me is you got to make it stand alone so it can't be hacked.
Okay.
And you will sell no information to any other parties. Okay. This will be totally secure.
Well, I got a solution for that part for you.
Yeah.
As
Okay.
I'm listening to what you're saying. Okay.
Yep.
Thinking about a solution. Well, there's a lot of money in one big pot between the county and the city.
Oh yeah.
For picking up trash.
Oh yeah, but hey, you get the government involved, man, and then you got all.
I want you to think along this line,
Yeah.
though. So they'll make you feel enough, at least that you'll go and say, hey, look, at least approach them and say, look, this is what I'm going to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because the definition of our government is supposed to be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Boy, you are idealistic, aren't you?
So I want to bring that back on the table because it's still there.
Yeah. Oh
See?
yeah.
So I'm just saying, if you approach when you approach the city or the county about your idea, and you need this money to put this communication piece together, because it'll pay and do it right. You got me?
Yeah.
You're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
do it right. And then the idea is that if they don't want to do it, then you come back on Oregon Voters Digest.
Yep.
And you share it with the people.
Yep.
And let them call them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because in all due respect, that's a lot of money picking up trash. I mean, even to date. And
Yeah.
you know, when Wheeler basically said, look here, we're going to, the people have been telling, you got to clean this city up. You got to clean my neighborhood, et cetera, et cetera, et
That's
cetera.
right.
They're doing it, but they're constantly asking taxpayers for more monies.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
people asking more money.
Absolutely.
So I'm just sharing with you that I think the idea is great, but I want to make sure it gets done.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
And so,
me too.
So the money, I'm saying, is sitting there in a pot because
It's a possibility.
There's a possibility.
Yep.
Because the county just recently put together $80,000 to educate folks. If you don't know how to use fentanyl, here's a packet that shows you how to do it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
$80,000.
Right. Yeah. Oh, hey,
Okay.
man, their
Now,
numbers
that's
are. It costs them a lot to do anything,
Jesus
man.
Christ, and people are dying on the street every day. But anyway, let's get back to your point.
Oh, hey, well, let
that.
me give you a solution.
Go on.
A potential solution.
Okay, good.
Okay?
Okay, good.
Now, let me preface it a little bit, okay?
Now, we're still talking about the butts right now, right?
No, huh, man, I'm going to
Just
switch.
across.
I'm going
Oh,
to
you
switch
wanna
to
go- another issue.
Another thing. Yeah,
Okay,
right.
okay,
Yeah,
good.
because I got a few things out
Go on,
there,
keep
you know.
going on. Talk to me.
Okay. It is that, let me see. I lost my train of thought. I'm going to have to
problem.
go back there again.
Issues.
Yeah, issues, right. And, oh, my. Well, let's just
to
go.
the next one.
Oh, the ozone. That's the solution to the
Ozone.
drug thing.
What are we talking about? Ozone.
I'm talking about a solution, and the solution is what I call an O-zone. You know about zoning.
Ozone. Zoning. Okay.
Ozone.
Okay.
Okay. Where now what we in a culture consider to be illegal
Okay.
will be legal there
Oh, okay.
on a per dose basis.
Per dose basis. Okay.
Okay.
So what are we talking about now?
We're talking about whatever you want, brother. Are you a man? Are you a woman? Do you want sex? You want drugs?
okay.
You want
All right.
alcohol?
All right.
You know, and it's
Ozone.
all and we got our in-house chemist.
Okay.
Okay, if you want fentanyl, you're going to get pure fentanyl, brother. And there's going to be a paddle there. If you pass out from a heart attack, we're going to have a paddle there. We're going to have a doctor there. We're going to have a shoot-up room. You know, we're going to let people do what they want to do, and we're going to make the money off the drugs. The city. Okay?
Interesting.
Okay, and what that will do, all these shootings going on, okay, that's going to reduce them. It's not going to stop them, because there's still going to be an illegal drug market out there. And that's kind of, but you're going to reduce its effect dramatically because any addict that wants can go there and you got to buy it. You can go to the Ozone and buy what you want. Now, prostitution, too, would be legal. Because hey, man, hookers get murdered all the time, man.
That's quite a complex you're looking at doing.
Hey, you realize how big it'd be?
Oh, that's huge.
And you realize how much money the city would make off of that? Okay, it'd be safer.
Okay, what I'm hearing you also say, can you guys understand? I'm gonna break in every so often.
Oh, do bro.
Is that this is a focused facility, or area, if you will, where you got all of these entities that are in there. It's a controlled environment.
Totally controlled. Okay, if there's any crime, it's shut down until that criminal is caught.
Right there. So I'm thinking. So my immediate thought in terms of that controlled environment, like that, when we had problem with cigarette smoking, what did they do? They responded by saying, "Okay, fine, one could actually have a smoking area."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they had them all over. In fact, they still have them around the city,
right?
If you will, where you can go in and you can buy the cigars. And you can smoke it right there with all of your fellows.
That's right.
Okay, you got me?
Yeah.
And it doesn't get out. It gets filtered right then and there.
Right.
So that's what I'm thinking in terms of hopefully that's one of the ideas.
Oh, sure. And you'd have NA there and you'd have AA there. Okay, so anybody wants to get off their drugs, there's an ex-addict right there that'll help get you off that, man. So and you have social service agencies there too.
So people will be allowed to smoke the fentanyl there.
Yeah.
Okay, they say pure.
Per dose basis. Okay, we're not. It's not like you can smoke continuously.
It's almost like that movie. Remember who was that? Was it Nelson? Or what am I thinking? Nicholson. Remember the Cuckoo's Nest?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, when you took drugs, you had to take it right then and there. They gave you the drug in a window, and you had to swallow it with water.
That's right.
And then you get the cup back, and the person's got the drug.
That's right.
Not just give it to them.
Right. Well,
you walk away.
Yeah. Well, but they can if they want. But
they wouldn't leave the facility, though, would you?
Well, they can.
Well, but what happens if all of a sudden they get the overdose and that? They can't come in and get a second dose?
Well, there's all kinds of things about it. I don't know all the answers. And here's one thing you know about politics, okay? When it goes through the political process, things change. So, this is just an idea, and then you want to get it as fleshed out as much as you can, but it's an idea. All this Puritan stuff, it goes all the way back to the Pilgrims, about sexual prohibitions and about alcohol and about tobacco and drugs. Back in the 20s, drugs weren't illegal. It's just now, we can't let people do that, or we can't let people. And what that does, like they found out with alcohol prohibition, is it creates gangsters. Okay? That's what it does.
Well, right now, as you know, and from a political standpoint, they're looking at the legislation on 110, remember? They're trying to repeal it. Right. Drugs, right? You got me?
Right.
Openly be able to buy drugs, and they got shops all over the place.
Right.
Openly buy the drugs and actually use the drugs on the streets anytime you want to.
Yeah, well, that to me is a problem, okay? I want to me, what it's like is it's like you got cancer all through your body, right? And that cancer, except for in the West Hills, openly, it's behind doors there. But anyway, we got this cancer in our culture all over everywhere. And hey, let's take a bunch of it and put it right here. Where deaths aren't going to happen. You read about 3 children that died because they got a hold of fentanyl.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen at our place.
I got you.
Okay,
right.
And all this, deviant behavior is probably a good way to put it. Isn't in the community anymore. It's here, and where it can be solved if they want to solve it. And it's just an individual. Here's a great experiment I read about. Man, this fascinated me, talking about drugs on the street. Okay, to me, it is the symptom. Okay, and it's not the cause. Okay. This experiment took cylinders with enough water in it so that a rat couldn't get out, but it would drown.
Okay.
Okay, and they clocked how long it was on the average before the rats gave up.
Right.
And they took them out. Okay, some of them they took out and they dried off and they put back in.
Okay.
The first group that they ran lasted 16 hours on the average before they gave up.
Okay.
The ones they dried off and they put back in, how long do you think they lasted?
Twice as much.
4 times as much.
4 times.
60 hours.
4 times.
4 times.
What did they give them?
Hope.
No other medication.
No medication, no nothing like that. They dried them off and they put them back in there, and that rat had hope that they were going to get dried off again because they knew they were going to get dried off again.
The focus. Guess what? The mind. Okay, I don't want to go back in that cylinder.
That's right. Now you take these people that are unhoused and you steal all their stuff from them. How many times? 5, 8, 10, 12, 15 times? Yes. Do you think they're hopeless?
Wow. Nope.
You know, they give up.
They give up. Wow. That's quite a scenario there.
Isn't it?
That is quite a scenario.
Isn't it? So if you give them hope, okay, that's all you got to do. This system that they work off of, okay, is punishment, okay? Okay, you do this or I'm going to do this, right? Okay, very different than giving somebody hope. Somebody that has hope can get off the drugs.
Well, let's go back again, thinking as I'm listening to what you're saying.
Yeah.
The big issue was this fentanyl aspect of it.
Oh, yeah.
So your thing is that, okay, fine, you give them the fentanyl pure, but
don't give it, you sell it to them.
You sell it to them pure in this controlled environment.
Right.
And by this time, you know, they've gotten so much, they done just overdose or whatever, you got me? And you revive them, okay? And then all of a sudden, they're out.
Well, you know, there's some people you're not going to let back in.
Oh, okay.
I would think. Okay, I haven't set up all these rules and everything, but I mean, you certainly you know you've got ways of dealing with aberrant behavior. Okay, you don't want people dying in your facilities, but you don't want to put them out the door and dying out the door either. But you know, if they walk out the door, you know.
Well, to me, that walk out the door, because you know they've got this other mechanism, just like they would give a needle to folks who are doing, was it the marijuana?
A straw.
A straw.
Yeah.
But the whole idea is that, not the fentanyl, I'm thinking about what we're using right now with the needles.
Yeah.
With the drug. But in this particular case, what they've done now, they've given them this other thing that they've sent out in terms of the withdrawal piece. What's that gadget that the firemen have?
Oh yeah, right. Boy, that's. But anyway, revives you if you get a Narcan.
They were Narcan.
Yeah.
So if that Narcan is not around, they're gonna die.
Right. Oh yeah, they're dying right now.
Okay. Yeah, they're dying big time.
Yeah.
They're dying right now.
So if we do this, fewer of them are gonna die. And the really fun part about it, and I don't attach this to anything like that. This is what the stick and the carrots do.
Right,
okay,
right.
You got to follow the carrot or else, right? You know,
right.
I just you give somebody hope. Okay, and they're going to get out of that, man. They're going to get out of that. You give somebody a place to live. You give them shelter where they're safe. Okay, now when you're out on the street, okay, and I've been there, okay, you're not safe.
Right.
Okay, and we don't experience that being housies all our lives. We don't experience really being unsafe. Now, you go out there and then at midnight, you find a place to lay down where you feel comfortable, and you can lay down. Remember to use cardboard. Concrete's not good. And you can lay down. You're going to lay there, and your body's going to say to you, hey, man, I ain't going to go to sleep, brother. Ain't no way I'm going to go to sleep.
And that's what's happening right now.
Oh, absolutely, man. Who's that person walking by right there? Now, hey, let me tell you, if you're a female, something like 80% of them have been assaulted on the street.
Raped.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, so they're not going to sleep at night. They're going to sleep in the day. Okay, where they're safe, where people are walking by, where they're not going to be raped. Okay, so, you know, this camping ordinance that they got doesn't certainly allow for that, and certainly doesn't allow for disabled people. You know, I got a guy right down the corridor from me that's in a wheelchair, and he's got one foot missing, and he's got the other one in a cast. You know, he's in a wheelchair. You know, how's he supposed to pack up his tent every day?
Right.
You know, it's just... it's just interesting to see what housed people, how they view the unhoused, basically, is what it is.
Right.
You know, and I helped start Right to Dream, you know.
Okay, right.
Yeah, and I wrote their 501c3 and the Articles of Incorporation.
Really?
And, yeah, one of the 5 people that started
You
it.
were part of that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There was a gentleman, an African-American gentleman. What was his name? You think about it? Ibrahim.
He was one of the 5.
He's been on the show before. In fact, where is he? Is he still around?
I have no idea, man.
Right,
I split with him.
Right, I got you. But my point is that you were there.
Oh yeah, and I lived there for 3 months. And I saw, front line. Because I'd never been in a community like that, man. We just started, this guy gave us a lease, and so we just started it one day. 70 people showed up.
Right,
I didn't know who the people were. It was whoa, okay, we're full. Can't, no more.
But you wrote that piece up.
Yeah, I started it, and the difference it made in people's lives just being safe.
The key was safe.
Number 1 human need. Safety.
Wow.
Okay, and all these people out on the street are not safe. Okay, and they know that. So we need some solutions that allow them to be safe. Now I was living in a 4-foot high by 4 foot wide by 8 foot long. Okay. Box.
Is that the one that was provided by the city or the county?
No. I built alternative housing. That's something I do.
You did that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I lived in that for probably about 6-7 years, something like that, and then I built myself an 8x8.
Here locally?
Oh yeah. Don't my history there. Let me clue you.
I remember that. Throw that out.
Okay. I'll throw it out. Okay.
You built your own house.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. I found a free piece of land.
A free piece of land.
Wow. You got that right, Bruce.
How'd you go about doing that?
Watch this.
You sure? Is that eminent domain? Is that the way you did? You didn't use eminent domain?
No, huh?
You found a free piece of property.
Yep. Right.
In the city of Portland.
Yep.
I thought it was all gone.
Yeah. Well, it is. But there's zero. Here is the deal. Now I don't know if you know. I helped in 2008 when all the foreclosures were coming down.
Right.
I helped 18 people file a lawsuit to stop their foreclosure.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, and so I was going down to Multnomah County regularly researching.
Those are the ones that the foreclosure piece, yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah. So, and I was then living down on the river.
Okay.
Right down on the river. So I was researching where I was living, and I found a piece of property there I could live on, private property. And at the same time, when I was looking through this other area, I saw a piece of property had 0 value. And I thought, 0 value? That's totally weird. I've never seen that before.
There's such an animal out there?
I guess I looked it up. It was there. So I looked further into it. It was transferred from one trust to another trust in 1960.
Okay.
Okay, trusts aren't recorded.
Right.
I looked up the name of the trust and, tried to find somebody, and I couldn't find anybody related to it. And if you were somebody or a trustee, why would you keep track of a property that had 0 value?
Right. Oh.
No need.
Oh.
And since it had 0 value, the county didn't foreclose on it for failure to pay taxes. Okay?
Right.
So I moved on it. I started making improvements about 12 years ago now. And so in Oregon, when you are on a piece of property uncontested for 10 continual years, you can apply to have the deed in your name.
Really?
Yeah.
Here in Oregon?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you did that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've dealt with bureaucrats. Good. Yeah, okay. First thing the bureaucrat's going to tell you is, nope.
Yep.
Nope. Nope. We can't. Nope. We don't do that. Nope.
Wow.
So first of all, I went there to prime the pumps, supposedly. Yeah. So I went there and I said, hey, I've got this, unusual thing, and, what's the deal about recording on a deed? And they said, well, we don't determine the legality of any paperwork. We just record it.
Wow.
Okay, so I go down there with this, all laid out. I got an affidavit, and I got whatever those stamps are that, somebody confirms what it is.
Seal.
Yeah. So I got all and give it to them. They shake their head and kind of go back.
What
in the
did we
back
do?
room. Yeah. Oh, hey, they wrote up about 5 things I had to do. Okay. So I go back and
Send
it
it to
takes
the
a while.
legislature. Send it to the legislature to approve, right?
Something.
Yeah, somebody,
Yeah,
somebody had to sign off on this deal.
Oh, yeah,
to come
something.
back to you and say you can't do this.
That's right.
That's basically what the paperwork did. It
Right.
came back to you. and said-
Absolutely.
But then by this time you
Oh, I did all the 5 things they wanted me to do. I thought I did. I took it back in. They gave me a list of 7 things I needed to do.
Jeez.
So, hey, that's okay, But anyway, I've been on that for
You've
now.
done that.
Now for quite a few years. Yeah. And it's under the Ross Island Bridge.
You still have it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You still have it?
Sure. Yeah, it's on land like this. You ever go on
Well, you
Springwater Trail, where Ross Island Sand and Gravel used to be here?
Yes, I remember that.
Okay,
yes.
and the Ross Island Bridge is
Yes,
here going
right,
over
right,
the top.
right.
Well, if you'd stop just right before you go into the bridge and look uphill,
There's a house.
you'll see there are 2 of them. The 4x4x8 that I used to live in, I gave to one of my friends. He's
Okay.
living there now. I live in the 8x8. And then there's actually a third one. A guy moved in Dwayne. He hauled plywood there now. That's a whole story. But,
Right.
yeah.
But wait a minute now. You know how much money we've been spending on putting those little houses that they're building for $80,000 a piece or something
Oh, yeah.
like that?
Oh, yeah. Hey,
80,000.
and 60,000 to keep a person there.
80%, that's $140,000. I remember when they first started building those little houses at the county, they built so many of them, and I guess they gave them to people if they would put them in their backyard.
Oh,
Okay? It didn't last.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden they just got rid of them. Nobody knew what happened to
Of
those
course,
homes.
of course, yeah.
Well, who got these free homes? You know
That
what I
doesn't
mean?
exist.
They were just giving them away.
Yeah.
But it's other people's money.
But they need we talked about this earlier. Okay, the whole thing on the unhoused
Right.
is they need a place to go.
They need a place to go. Yes.
Yep. Well,
But-
wasn't they did it Right to Dream? The first thing the city did to
Yeah,
us
right,
at Right
right,
to Dream
right,
is
right.
fine the property owner $2,000 a month for having a recreational campsite.
What?
Yep,
I mean, that's how they responded to what you did.
that's right.
Wow.
You can't do that. That's a recreational campsite. And you
Wow.
look up the laws for a recreational campsite.
So someone
it's
had
like,
basically given you the lease. They said,
Right.
look, we'll lease it, maybe give you for $1 or something like that.
Exactly.
He was reacting, if
Right.
you will, to solving the problem.
right. Yep.
So he did for $1, and then you came up with a solution, communicating with the people on the street in terms of how you're going to care for the property, making sure that it's being taken care of, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
et
it was
cetera.
just a vacant lot.
Yeah, just vacant lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember. I know it right off of Burnside.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I really know exactly.
That
where
was the
it's
rights that gave us that. I forget what the old man's name was, but
Wow.
they're good. Hey, and when we set it up there, we went back and told him, man, hey, tears started coming out of his eyes,
Right,
man.
right,
He'd
right,
had a
right,
rough
Wow.
background
Yes.
too, man.
And people of that gender, they have people like that running around
Oh yeah,
who owns a lot of property.
sure.
Why couldn't they have done the same thing and reached out to those folks? They could have done it through excuse the French.
Well, they're afraid. Okay, and they need an organization, and they need insurance, and they need all these things,
No,
right?
but
They
I'm just
don't
thinking.
have- yeah.
But I'm just thinking. But what he did to you, he just basically said, "You can lease the property, give me $1."
Right.
And I'm just saying, other entities could have done the same thing,
Sure, they could have.
and wouldn't cost the taxpayers nothing.
Right.
And there was a solution.
Yeah, but you saw what the city did to the solution. They fought it.
Wow. Who was the mayor at that time?
Oh, geez, man. Who was the mayor? Must have been Sam Adams.
Sam Adams. Okay. Or maybe Charlie Hale. Does that
Could
ring
have
a
been
bell?
Charlie.
Yeah, because he was beyond. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was maybe Charlie Hale.
I'll tell you one good story about Sam Adams, okay?
Talk to me about Sam.
I told you,
Where's Sam right now? I mean, they got rid of him.
Oh, no, he's working for Wheeler. He's the one that, he's the one that did this encampment, this prison camp.
Well, he did. No, I thought Sam was gone.
Well, now you could be right too.
Yeah,
He was in there for a while. I know that.
Anyway, but okay.
Yeah, anyway,
He's
I
there
do
with-
alternative housing, and so I decided to do what I called the Cadillac Shack. Okay, cheap as you can do it.
The Cadillac Shell.
Yeah, Cadillac Shack.
Shack, okay.
Okay, $49.66 in materials. Okay, it was 2 by 2 by 6.
Right.
Okay, and I stayed in it to see if you could do it. It's hard to roll over in it, but I'm just
But
check it out.
you had shelter.
So I decided to set it out in front of City Hall for a month and just come each day and sit on it.
And
right?
you did that.
I did that. And after about, maybe a week and a half, something like that, I come and my sign was ripped off. And I go, geez, man. So I went to go make my new sign. And I came back to them loading it in a police van. So I took out my video camera. I go, hey, what's going on here, man? Oh. 4 of them go into a huddle. They all kind of rush off, and I wait there. And about 15 minutes later, they come back. They go into a huddle, and they say, okay, you can have it, but you got to take it out. So I go and I take it out. I find out through discovery who told them to take it.
Who did that?
Chief of Police, Mike Reese.
Wow.
Who told them to give it back was the mayor, Sam Adams. So just by sitting on a box outside City Hall, I'm pulling those strings, man.
But why, with all due respect, no one reached out to you when you first put it there?
Right, no.
To talk to what and why did you do this?
Right.
Etc. Because it was shelter.
Oh, it was shelter.
It was shelter.
Hey, it was safe.
But no one reached out to you and said, okay, fine, look here, we hear where you're coming from. You're looking for shelter. And however, we'll find a location, a better location, because we're saying we shouldn't have it here or something like that. Or if not that, we may have to just build it and keep it here or something. But my point is that the fact, but you were still the public. You know, I've always maintained you're still the employer. You understand what I mean by
in
that?
theory,
In theory, right?
I like your theories.
Elected officials are employees, would you say? Mm-hmm. Okay, if
Sure.
you're paying the taxes.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, keep going. Keep going. Well, Jesus Christ.
Keep going. Okay, let's go to the unhoused solutions. Okay, well, actually, let's go to the housing shortage.
Okay.
Let's do that, because that to me is more important than the unhoused solutions. Okay, unhoused people, there's a huge prejudice. You know about prejudice.
Right. Oh yeah.
Okay, there's a huge prejudice.
Yeah.
You start talking unhoused people, go ballistic.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's right.
Okay, so I don't want to talk really about, we'll set that aside over there, and we'll talk about the housing shortage, because that's really what it is.
Right.
Okay, and like you mentioned earlier, these corporations are buying up housing.
Right.
Okay, so that's one solution, is that if you own a single family dwelling, okay, you can narrow it down to that if you want to, because we all know that homes that are owned and lived in are better for a community.
Right.
Okay, so that's what we want in Portland. Okay, so you want to restrict home ownership to personal ownership. Okay, so you put your name on there. BlackRock isn't a person.
Right.
BlackRock, you might own them here, but somebody's got to have their name on it. Okay, so maybe you should divest, or maybe you shouldn't buy in Multnomah County or in the city of Portland, because they have these restrictions, and restrict corporate ownership. I think that's one big thing.
That would be another option, okay.
Right. Another thing is to say any home, single family home, they got terms for it, that is vacant for 3 months or more, $100 a month per bedroom. There are a lot of vacant places around. Okay. Well, I think Portland built 1,400 housing units last year. Okay. So if we could get 500 places that don't want that fine, you either fix it up, you tear it down, or you sell it. Those are your choices. Okay, or you can pay the fine.
Okay.
Some people won't want to pay the fine.
Okay.
So that's another solution. that
That's
we can do.
acquisition, yeah.
But the best solution I like is to, for a limited time period, allow people to rent out their garages.
Okay.
They have to provide access to sewer, water, garbage, and electricity. Okay, so it doesn't mean they got to set up a whole kitchen sink and all that
most
stuff.
Most of the stuff goes through the garage anyway.
Yeah, well,
the water and the sewage and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All the piping and stuff.
Yeah, but you don't have to put in the whole sewer system, because that's really expensive, man.
Right.
And so one of the conditions is you can't rent it for any more than your property taxes. Average property taxes are $3,000 a year. That'd be $250 a month to rent your garage.
Ah, interesting.
Okay? And ideally, you'd put your permits would be annual permits, and the permitting process would go on for 5 years.
Okay.
Because hopefully we would have time to solve our housing problem in that 5-year time period. But you saw how the 10-year plan to end homelessness ended 5 years ago without a plan. So, so these are practical solutions, okay? And the one for the unhoused is 25%. I lived it right to dream. 75 is too many people. Okay, you need a smaller group. You need a tribal aspect, okay? Okay, and here's what we found at Right to Dream that I thought was really interesting, the carrot stick thing, okay? We'd have meetings every week, and we had processes for this, and we had processes for resolving problems. And so if the problem was not resolvable and somebody had a big issue and wanted to kick somebody out, it came up before the group.
Okay.
And 3 times an issue came up to vote somebody out, and they never voted anybody out, okay, because they knew it was not safe out there. But what happened is the behavior changed. Okay, so that's what you want, okay? And the power to stay a member of a tribe is very strong. You'll change your behavior to stay in the tribe. So 25 or smaller, that's fenced, so only tribal members can get in or their guests, that have a community agreement, and the community's got to think of some place for them to be. I would appreciate it. There's something like 90 communities in Portland. If they'd all come up with 4 places that would be acceptable for them to have a camp. Because with what I estimate to be 10 to 15,000 unhoused in Portland, that's quite a few 25-person camps.
That's right. That's right.
And I just read a Portland State study, which I was interested by, about the success of the unhoused camps. And they said that this is what should happen. 65% of the people that were living in the self-governed camps were satisfied with that. And something else they said is that the community members that were resistant of having a camp in their community changed by having the camp in their community. Their fears were not realized. They were good community members. So this is possible. Okay. And so that would be a big deal.
That's a big deal. Well, it's so big that the thing that comes to mind is that, I'm an avid TV writer for politics and whatever, and I look at the news. And I look at all of the people that are, quote, in politics, elected officials, that are basically picking up the monies again from the taxpayers to build housing, and saying the problem with the homeless is that we need to build more houses.
Yeah, and that's
an interesting thing there, see what I'm saying? But no one really defines what are you talking about.
Well, but it's absurd. When like I say, we got 15 to 20,000. Okay, it costs 20,000 to build 1 apartment. Okay, 20,000.
One unit.
200,000.
200,000 per unit.
Per unit, right?
Wow.
Okay, so you multiply that times 20,000, and you got like $4 billion.
Yes. Wow.
Okay, so taxpayers, are you going to fund $4 billion?
Wow. Well, that's what's happening now. That's what's happening now.
Oh, they got pennies into it. They haven't got billions
yet.
Okay, and here's one of the problems that they found in the European countries, okay? If you build a housing structure, let's say you got 200 units, something like that, okay? And you put low income in there, you've created a ghetto.
Yep, that's right.
You've created a drug addicted.
That's
what they found in European countries is that you need to embed people in the community. Okay, and they found that when you're dealing with somebody that's trying to deal with whatever substance abuse or mental illness or whatever, that they would bring 3 people once a week to that person that was embedded in the community. One of them was a psychologist, one of them was a former addict, and one of them was a social worker.
Okay.
Okay, and they would communicate with that person that was embedded. And what they found is that they need to be available to normal input to their behavior.
Interesting.
So that they modify their behavior again so they stay in the community.
Wow.
Okay, so if you take them, like I say, and put them all in one building, they did this in the 60s and in New York and places, and created ghettos and slums.
Yes,
and
right.
So that's not a valid process. That's just, and there isn't enough money to do it anyway. But what they want, what people want, is they want to be safe.
Right.
And they want to be sheltered.
Right.
So a tent. Now, and this is true all over. The human organism wants that. Okay, and you look all over the world.
Everybody,
all humans, they
that's
do
right,
that.
That's right. That's everybody.
They do that. They ain't got no money. They have a tent. They got a little bit of money. They put up a tar shack. You know, they need a home.
They need a home.
Okay, it's where they can be safe, where they can sleep. Okay, and we as a culture, with that anti-camping ordinance, are denying that. No, you can't have that. No. Oh, you can have it, but you got to take it up every day. You got to put it down every day. You know, it's like, you know, it's one of the things that this ordinance does that is fascinating to me from a legal point of view. Okay, is that it allows them to go on private property and clean up what they consider to be garbage.
Wow. And that's inclusive of the person.
It's subsection G in that unhousing ordinance. Wow. It says that anytime they see trash or litter that they deem is created by an unhoused person adjacent to public or on private property, they can take it.
Wow.
Okay, so now that's way beyond the Constitution. They can't do that. But, you know, they did it. Okay, that's the law now.
Yep, right.
Right, okay, so they've done it. So, you know, that's one of the reasons why I want the circuit court to deem this ordinance unconstitutional. Because you can't give government the right to go on private property and take stuff. That's what they did to me. They came on my property and took 20 sheets of plywood. How would you feel about that?
They call that trash. They call that trash, the plywood?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and then the private property signs were there, you know, and there were barricades there, and they've come on the property, I think, 4 times and stolen stuff off the property. Isn't that interesting? It's bizarre.
But the whole definition that sits on the table talks about the whole issue of housing, and the points that you're making with regards to homelessness, it's being safe and shelter from the elements.
Right, yeah, real different.
Yeah, it's just a whole different ballgame.
There you go.
But then, on the other hand, you got this dream of the masses, is that I wanted my dream home.
That's right. That's right.
And it has all the other amenities, the pool and this, that, and the other. But realistically, when it comes down to the bottom line, it's all about safety and shelter.
That's right. There we go.
So if you don't get those, and those folks are, in all due respect, have never been educated about what their definition of a real home is all about.
Yeah.
We all start out with that shelter.
That's right.
and being safe.
Once you get out of the home.
That's right. And then that's why we have different areas.
That's right.
We have the Beavers and the Lake Oswego's. We have the folks running at the top of the hill and all kinds of stuff aspect of it. But the basic thing is the whole issue is safety.
That's right.
Safety and just a shelter over my head.
That's right. And then food.
And food, yeah.
Then food.
Then food.
But you got to, yeah.
But you want to eat food in a dry place too.
That's right, and be safe too. Yeah.
Be safe.
Yeah,
somebody might rip it off.
Yeah. Oh, they do.
They do.
Yeah. Oh.
Wow.
Oh, hey, man.
So we've not had this discussion.
Oh.
You know, I mean, my point is that you haven't been interviewed by the rest of the media. Right?
Oh no, man, they don't interview.
And some of the things that you've gone through. I mean, some of the things that you've gone through, just that you shared, just a few minutes that we've had here now, what you shared, that should be on the table. That's why I have you on the table.
Well, you put it on the
I'm
table.
putting it
Thank
on
you,
the
Bruce.
table. No, we're going to do more than that.
Yeah.
My point is that we're going to send this out to the various media folks because they are the communicators.
Yeah.
Because people are trained to turn that tube on, but unfortunately, they don't turn that tube on to educate them about what the real world is on the whole issue of homelessness.
Yeah.
And this should be part of that discussion.
Yeah.
And then the idea, as you say, and I know how you are, you open. Hey, get the professors and whatever, tell them to sit at the table and pick it apart.
Sure.
Because the first thing I'm going to be asking, what do you have?
Right.
First.
Yep. There you go.
And then you'll have the opportunity to pick or whatever. But at the end of the day, we want to solve a problem.
Right. The problem is people aren't safe, and they haven't got to. They do have shelter. Let me clarify that. Okay. They do have shelter. They're in a tent. Okay. But then you steal that tent from them.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's temporary.
Yeah. Right.
But see,
Stop it.
shelter can be defined. That's why I brought in all of the other entities.
Right.
With these mansions and this, that, and that. It's just shelter.
Right. Yeah. There you go. Yep.
It's shelter.
Yep, and you want ideally. I've lived in a tent, and a tent isn't an ideal place to live in. You can't make it warm, and you can't really cook in it because you catch it on fire. That thing will burn like that. Right. So then it's it's safe.
Well, that's the first thing I thought about. Just on a little side note about fentanyl. See, in that package they're going to be giving out. I said, was there a cigarette lighter in that packet?
Oh,
I mean, because all you see on the tube is somebody just burning it up. You know what I'm saying, and melting it up so they can put it in a needle. Because they bought the needle somewhere else. You expect that. So you got to have some. You got to have a match.
Yeah. Oh, sure you do.
So you may break in a house and get a match.
Oh, hey man,
the idea is that it's going to drive you to do something.
Sure.
So we need to have this discussion. That's what I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Well, look, we've got about 2 minutes left, but what we're going to do a series.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is that this next week, you're going to come back and we're going to continue.
Okay.
So I'm going to share this with the viewing audience. Okay. We're not done yet.
Okay. I don't think we're ever done, Bruce.
But as far as I'm concerned, we'll just keep doing it until people understand, and we'll send this to the various mediums.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it sure does.
And we'll invite these other mediums, i.e. through media.
Yeah.
We've got two things. One, those folks who are folk that we're paying for, and I'm talking about elected officials at the county and the city.
Yeah.
They should get this and look at it.
Yeah.
Okay. Not just ignore it, but here's another option here.
Yeah. Well, ignorance works, as you can see.
Here's another option here. The only thing that I've seen that they about the buying the property, they've not done it yet in masses, is the eminent domain piece.
Yep.
See, so I want to let the property owners understand that we may get down to the point, if you're poor, but you own a piece of property out there in a house, and all of a sudden they want to build an apartment complex there. Guess what? You're out of there.
Yeah.
They'll give you X number of dollars and you're gone.
Yeah.
And that's your dream.
That's right.
Now you got to find yourself another shelter. Now you can't buy that property back for that amount of money in the same neighborhood.
Sure.
Oh, you understand me? You're not going to be getting true value.
Hey. Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, hey, yeah.
See? So I think it would be of benefit to the viewing audience to understand that, one, you're the employers to the political piece. And don't get me wrong, we're a capitalistic society. That's a fact. Okay? But look, 41 seconds left. This has been just fantastic, but it's not over. We're going to come back next week.
Okay.
And we're going to do another show to continue where we are.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Okay.
Man, it's a
good.
pleasure.
Hey,
okay, man. And
thank
to
you.
the viewing public, share this show with anybody and everybody you know. Okay? It's very important. And it's all about the homeless and solutions to the issues that you're hearing constantly that you are paying for. Big time. Again, I'm Bruce Broussard and my guest, Michael Hallahan. Boy, what a find. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Wait a minute, we might be able to do a show now. Let me see.
Hey, we bullshitted all the way through all that, didn't we?
Hey, Bo!